you've been here this month, you know we haven't been in a normal series, but we've been kind of jumping around, doing a few different things. And so we were doing that tonight as well. And I was thinking about like what's been going on lately, and it was track season, right, just recently. Does anybody do track? Anybody? Anybody? You do track? You do track? You do track? That's sick, okay? Track is really fun because I really like going to track meets, okay? So I get invited to go to like different sports things and stuff a lot for middle school specifically. So if you ever are like, oh, I have a game and like you should totally come to it, invite me and invite your leader and maybe we'll come because they're pretty cool. If you have, whether it's a game or a recital or a play or whatever else you do, a like belt ceremony, if you do like some kind of martial art, whatever it is, invite us and maybe we'll come. But I went to a bunch of track meets last year. Didn't really get a chance to go to any this year, but last year I went to track meets and they were really fun. They were one of my favorite events to go to because if you've ever been to a track meet, you know there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. There's like the relay races, there's the shot put. Basically, if you're like watching an event and then it ends, you can just kind of like turn the other way and like go let's see what's going on over here. And then you're like, oh, shot put. Okay, that's done. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. Oh, hurdles, that's sweet. There's just all kinds of things going on. It's very entertaining because there's a lot happening, right? And one of my favorite, that was loud. That was cool. One of my favorite events is the relay races, okay? And if you've ever ran relay races, do any of you run relay races? Yeah, you run relay races. What's this? A baton. This is a baton, okay? So the relay races, they all have to run with this little baton, right? And anyone who runs relay races, and we can ask her and see, would probably say the most important part of the relay race is like the passing off of the baton, right? Because when you're running a relay race, there's like 4 of you, right? Usually 4. Is that right? Yeah. You got 4 of you, and you're going around the track, and when you're coming up to the end of your part of the relay, you have to like run in the same pace with the person that you're handing the baton to, because your arm has to be going forward while their arm's going backward so that you can really grab it really fast and then keep going. And the teams that usually win are the ones who are the best at handing off the baton, right? And if you drop the baton, that's like really bad. I think you get like disqualified or at least like penalized if you drop the baton, right? It's all about passing the baton. When you see the relay runners getting ready for their event, they're usually not like practicing running. They're just working on like passing off the baton and doing it fast, because that's how you win the relay races. You pass off the baton really well. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, this idea of passing off a baton, okay? So a baton, right, all it is for them is just something to mark whose leg of the race it is, right? They just pass it off, and then that's how you know, okay, now the next person's running the race. And so we're going to be looking at that tonight, because when it's the end of the year and you're moving up to the next grade, it's kind of like you're getting past the baton, because you're no longer a 6th grader, now you're going to be a 7th grader. You're no longer a 7th grader, now you're going to be the 8th grader, right? And you have to grab the baton and keep going, right? You're doing something new. You're getting past a baton. And I was thinking about when I was in middle school, when I was a 6th grader, I was like really, really short, okay? I was really short until like my like sophomore year of high school. I was probably like, I don't know actually how tall I was, but I feel like I was like this tall in 6th grade. Probably not that, maybe like, I don't know. Who's really short? Who's really, really short? Who feels like they're short? Colton's pretty short. I'm kind of like, probably like Colton's height. But so I was really short, right? And I was this little tiny 6th grader. That was a terrible throw. I was this tiny little 6th grader, and I remember when I was in youth group, at first, I was kind of scared of the 8th graders because some of them were big and scary, which is kind of normal, right? They're like way bigger than you. And because you kind of grow a lot in middle school, if you haven't noticed, you tend to grow a lot. So I was kind of scared of these 8th graders. But then when it was time for like them to leave, I was like, dang, they're actually really cool. And, you know, maybe I didn't think all of them were cool, but there were some of them that I was like, oh, those guys were really cool. And I really looked up to them, whether it was the 8th graders or some of the 7th graders or even some of the high schoolers, right? You look up to these older kids, even if you don't want to admit it, you're like, oh, they're kind of cool. Like, I want to be like them when I'm older. I want to be cool like that. And, you know, now, as you're moving up, it's your turn to be like the big kid, right? The 8th grader or the 7th grader, right? You're no longer the 6th grader, you know, who like gets made fun of at middle school for being like a 6E or whatever. That's not you anymore. Now you're the 7th grader. You're moving up in the world, right? It's exciting stuff. And we're all kind of running races in life, right? Everyone is kind of running a race of some type. Are you guys okay down here? You guys are really loud tonight. It's just a little distracting, you know? Okay, it's okay. So you're running a race, right? Everyone is running their own race in life, right? Maybe I'm running after Jesus, and I'm also running after basketball, and I'm also running after, track or whatever sport you do. Or maybe you're running after, being really good at theater and Jesus, and maybe you're running after learning to bake cookies or something. Whatever you're running after, everyone's doing a little bit of different things. But you're also kind of running together, right, as a group, right? If you've been coming here for a while, then you would know you are probably part of a small group, right? That's what we call our different groups, like our 6th grade boys. They're like a group. They're a small group. And if you've never been here on like a Sunday morning and been to small groups, that's okay. If you ever come, you'll see what I'm talking about. Or if you come to a camp or something like that, then we kind of group people like 6th grade boys, 6th grade girls, 7th grade boys. So you're running with your group in life, right? You're kind of all running in the same general direction, right? You're all going through middle school. You're all in the same grade. You're all pursuing Jesus to some different degree that looks different for everybody, but you're all kind of going the same way, right? And those 8th graders, they were going their same way, and now they're kind of gone. They're leaving the middle school group, and that means there's a hole to fill, right? They are passing it off. They're no longer the 8th graders. They're no longer the big kids, right? The big kids and the 8th graders kind of like set the tone for youth group a lot of times. They kind of set the tone. And they're leaving, right? And they're gone now. And they did some really great things. They were really, really good at inviting people, right? Even tonight, I saw new 8th graders that I had never seen before. And it was their last night here, and there was new ones. They were always really good at inviting people from their schools, just inviting whoever it was. They were always bringing new people in. That was something that I really, really loved about that class of students, right? And every class of students is a little bit different. They all kind of have their own identity, right? There's similarities, obviously, like, you're all still in middle school. There's going to be similarities, but everyone is a little bit different, right? They've got a little bit of different leaders. They've got different students, and they all have different qualities, right? So it's kind of like you're getting past the baton, and it's like, okay, what is the youth group going to look like now? What is it going to look like now that they're gone, and you guys are kind of the ones setting the tone, right? Setting what the youth group can look like. And so this idea of passing the baton, right? It's this idea that it's not just like something we see in relay races and at youth group. It's something we see everywhere in the world, right? Like there's presidents, and then there's a new president that takes over, and they like change things, and different things happen. Everywhere in the world, kings, queens, all that stuff, it changes over time, and the baton is kind of passed. And in the Bible, there's a lot of these stories like that too, right? There's a couple of like huge times where like there's batons being passed, right? Where there's one person who's maybe leading the charge, and then there's someone else who comes along. So we're going to look at this guy named Moses, okay? If you've never heard of Moses, he's from the Old Testament, which just means that it was like a really long time ago. And he was this guy who was leading these people called the Israelites. The Israelites were this group of people. They were God's people, and they were living in slavery, right? They were in this place called Egypt, and they were slaves. So they're not living a great life, not a very good time. All of them are slaves. They're in Egypt, and they don't like it. They're out in the desert being slaves. Not a good time. And this Moses guy comes along, and he leads them out of slavery, right? He gets them freed from this guy named Pharaoh. He does all these crazy things. You should go read about it sometime. But he does all these crazy things, gets them out, and then he leads them around the desert for like 40 years, and they're just kind of doing their thing, wandering the desert. And then they're getting close to this promised land, this place that they've been looking forward to, this place that's full of all the food and all the like resources, the water, everything they could ever want to be their new home, to where they're not wanderers anymore. And they're getting close to this place, and then God tells Moses, he's like, look, Moses, your time's over, man. You're 120 years old. You're getting old. You're not going to be leading these people anymore. It's time for you to pass the baton, right? And he tells him that this guy named Joshua is going to take over, and he's going to be running things. And so Moses is like, all right, I need to tell the people this because this is a big deal, and they're going to freak out. So he gets all the people together, and he's like, look, guys, here's what's happening. I'm getting old. I'm going to die soon. And Joshua's going to lead you now. And he says a couple things to Joshua that I want to read together, and we're going to check it out on the screen in a second here. Okay, so Moses... All right, here we go. Yeah. Then Moses called for Joshua. So he's like, yo, Joshua, come here. And he's talking to Joshua. He says, and it's all of Israel's watching. So it's like he's having a conversation with him. It'd be like if I called like Aaron up here, and me and Aaron were having a conversation, but you guys are all watching, right? So he's talking to him, and he says, okay, ready? There's a yellow word right here. Okay. He said to him, be and courageous, for will lead these people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors he would give them. And then it goes on. You are the one who will divide it among them as their grants of land. Do be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go of you. He will be with, oh, I read your word. Shoot. Okay, we're going to try that again. He will be you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Okay, so Joshua is hearing this, right? He's standing there, he's listening to Moses. He's kind of young, he's kind of scared because he finds out, hey, man, you're responsible for leading these thousands of people now. Like, this is, I was doing it for a long time, for the last like 50 years, but hey, here you go, good luck. But he's telling him, he says, look, don't be afraid, don't be discouraged, because the Lord God, he will be with you, right? He's going ahead of you, he's behind you, he's with you everywhere you go, and he's not going to let you down, right? He's not going to abandon you. So he's like, even though maybe it's a tall task, even though maybe leading all these people was a big deal for Joshua, he's like, look, you're not going to be doing this alone. You've got God with you, right? And something he's kind of, what Moses is kind of telling him to do, right? Moses is passing the baton, and he's telling him to keep running on, right? That's the main idea here tonight. Pass the baton and keep running on. Pass the baton and keep running on. Moses is passing this baton to Joshua and telling him to keep running on. And there's another story that I really like that comes thousands of years later, right? These two other guys. There's this guy named Paul, and if you've never heard of Paul, he's pretty cool. He does a lot of great stuff. He comes after Jesus is here, and he decides that, you know what, he's going to follow Jesus, and he decides, I'm going to go out and spread the gospel and do everything I can to tell everyone I can about Jesus. And he goes all around. He plants churches all over the place. He writes these letters that get put into the Bible and that we still read today. He's this very, very important, influential guy. And he's getting old too. Okay, and when he's getting old, he's spent a lot of time with a lot of different people. And one of the guys he's been kind of discipling and teaching for a long time, his name is Timothy. Okay, and he writes Timothy a couple letters, and in these, he's kind of passing the baton to Timothy, right? Timothy is a young guy, probably a few years older than you guys. He's like a teenager, like upper teens, though, probably when he was getting these letters. So just a few years ahead of you guys. And this guy, Paul, who's like getting pretty old and has been doing this for a while, he's passing the baton to Timothy. And Timothy's got to be a little bit scared. And so Paul, he writes these things that we're going to read here to Timothy. Okay, check it out. There we go. Okay, he says, so this is Paul talking to Timothy, the guy he's trying to pass this baton to. He says, but you, Timothy, are a man of God. So run from all these evil things. Pursue righteousness. Yeah, that's great. And a godly life, along with faith, perseverance, and gentleness. Fight the good for the true faith. Hold tightly to the eternal life to which God has called you, which you have declared so well before many witnesses. So it's this really powerful couple verses here where Paul is just charging Timothy. He's saying, look, take the baton and keep running on, right? He's saying, take it. Pursue righteousness. Pursue God. Pursue a godly life. Pursue following God. Pursue faith. Pursue loving people. Pursue being perseverant. Pursue being a gentle person. Fight the good fight, right? He's calling Timothy into all of these things. He wants him to take the baton and keep doing the good work that he's been doing, but to do it differently, to do it his own way, right? It's unique, it's different. And that is kind of what we're doing here tonight, right? The 8th graders are leaving. You guys who are the 7th graders, you're now the 8th graders. You guys who are the 6th graders, you're now the 7th graders. And next week, we're going to welcome in a bunch of new 6th graders into our group. And you guys get the chance to set the tone, to set what Garage is, right? To see what are they going to think about Garage when they get here, right? What is their impression going to be? Because me and the leaders in the room, we do a lot here to shape the culture of Garage and to shape it into what we think it should be, into what we think God would want it to be. But you guys are the heartbeat of it, right? You guys get the choice of making someone feel welcomed or someone feel not welcomed, right? I can't control what each one of you guys says to someone when they come in the doors here. Only you can make them feel welcomed, right? I think when I look at your guys' class of the 7th graders and 6th graders right now, I see a class who's really, really welcoming. You guys are really good at being kind to each other, at showing love to one another. And I want that to continue on, right? I want you guys to take the baton and keep running on in those things. Keep running on and being a welcoming group of people, a group of kids that when I know, like, when I bring a new kid into one of your small groups or to hang out with one of you guys, I know that they're going to feel welcomed there because I know you guys are kind and loving people, and that's what I've seen. And I want you guys to keep doing that. Keep running on. Keep fighting the good fight, as Paul said, right? Keep chasing after Jesus. So we're going to have another song of worship here to close out the night in a few minutes. But before we get into that, what I want you guys to think about while we're kind of getting into worship and you're kind of reflecting on this, like, end of the year time where you're moving up, and maybe you're the 8th graders now and you're kind of leading the youth group, or maybe you're becoming a 7th grader and you're having a lot more influence and you get to choose, how the new 6th graders are going to feel treated when they come in. And I want you to think about, right, you've been passed the baton. Imagine you have been passed the baton in the race, and you get to choose what you're going to do with it, right? You get to choose what things are going to look like. You get to choose how you're going to act. You get to choose how you're going to treat people when they come to Garage. You get to choose who you're going to bring into this circle. You're going to get to choose how Garage will look for the next couple of years, right? You guys set the tone of what Garage can look like. So what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with the baton? Are you going to take it and make this a place where people come and they feel welcomed and loved and accepted when they're here, right? That's what our heart is. That's what our desire is for this place. We want people to come here and to know that they belong here, right? Even if they don't believe in Jesus, they belong here. They're loved here. They're accepted here. And you guys are the ones who are going to help us make that a reality, right? When we welcome these new 6th graders next week, when we welcome our friends that have maybe never been to church before, when we welcome our friends that we invite, when we bring friends to big events and things like that we throw, you guys get to set the tone, right? You guys have been passed the thing. You guys get to look at Paul and say, look, I'm fighting the good fight. I'm chasing after Jesus. So I want you guys to think about that while we spend some time worshiping here. So pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this night. Thank you for all my friends in the room. Thank you for school coming to a close. We're so excited for summer. We can't wait for all the fun that it'll be and all the fun things we get to do, and just a little break from school and from the grind that is. And we're excited for what's next. We're excited for what's ahead, for becoming 8th graders and 7th graders and getting to lead the group and lead the charge around here. We pray that you would just give us strength to fight the good fight, to chase after you with everything we have. Jesus, just teach us how to follow you. We pray all these things, and everyone said,
1,000 generations falling down in worship to sing the song of ages to the Lamb. And all who've gone before us and all who will believe will sing the song of ages to the Lamb. Your name is the highest, your name is the greatest, your name stands above them all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions, your name stands above them all, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, holy forever. If you've been forgiven, and if you've been redeemed, sing the song forever to the Lamb. If you walk in freedom, and if you bear his name, sing the song forever to the Lamb. Oh, we'll sing the song forever and amen, and the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high, holy, sing this with me? Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all. All thrones and dominions, all powers and positions. Your name stands above them all. Sing that again. Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all. All thrones and dominions, all powers and positions. Your name stands above them all. And the angels cry, holy. All creation cries, holy. You are lifted high, holy, holy forever. Hear your people sing, holy to the King of Kings. Holy, you will always be. Holy, holy forever. You will always be. Holy, holy forever.
Guys, a couple things real quick. We say this every week, but it's only because we mean it. You are loved and prayed for, and you are accepted here at Garage, just as you are. I hope you all have an amazing night and a great last week of school. We hope to see you next Wednesday night, 6:30. We're going to be welcoming some new sixth graders, which is going to be awesome, and I need all your help to welcome them. So be here next Wednesday night. Sign up for summer camp. Have an amazing night. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.